All right. We're gonna do a little bit of combo here. I'm gonna go to the range in a little bit, and in some ways, picture that they're both 9 millimeter, or in some ways, picture they're both 40 cal. Well, they're both full size Sig striker, full size Glock striker, but 9 millimeter 40. So in a way, I'm not trying to compare 9 to 40. We know if you want capacity and save your money, as far as range ammo, well, 9 millimeter is the winner. But if you want to save your life, well, at the end of the day, a good 9 millimeter hollow point, you should be pretty good. You should be. The difference is a good 40 caliber hollow point, you'll be even better. I just can't stress. Here's some examples. 180 grains. We have the HST. These things will open up to about 90th of an inch, almost a sub 1 inch, massive hollow point. These things really open up, very reliable. And then we have the black talons, golden saber, golden showers, golden slumbers. I'm getting my brands mixed up. This is a 1992 made Glock. This is a 2022 made Glock. Exactly 30 years in between. Now this is a Gen 2 Glock. In my opinion, that was peak Glock. It has the true Tennifer finish for 1992, 33 years old. Look at that finish, baby. This one was made for the Santa Clara Sheriff's Office. I don't know if this one was ever issued, though. It might have been, because there is some, like, carry wear right here where it would be fixture if there was being a holster. The thing about then, too, in the early 90s, not a lot of tactical plastic. So if they're wearing, like, leather holsters, the leather holster would have been easier on the frame and easier on the slide. It could be more conducive to maybe rust if you're not wiping down the gun. But the Tennifer finish was the strongest finish they ever made. Then again, you'd say, well, this doesn't have night sights, though. Yeah, but I don't know if 1992 they were upgrading on that. Maybe not. I don't think so, because clearly this was marked Santa Clara Sheriff's Office, which means it was made for them. And why would, what, they're going to send it to them? And if they did change the sights in 1992, why didn't they change it? I don't know. So, unless if it was sent to them like that, but it was just an overrun, it was extras in the armory, and then what if they only changed the sight before they issued to them? Maybe. That I can't answer you. But this thing is in fantastic condition. So anyways, we're going to compare. We are going to compare, but for caliber, we're also going to compare for brand. So, but also you can get a Sig in 40, you can get the Glock in 9, but still, so this would be equivalent to a Glock 17. But so, anyways, though, don't take it too seriously. But at the same time, because they're both full size. They're both striker fired. You see the difference when a Glock, the trigger's pulled. When the striker fired, if it's empty, the trigger stays back, and then here you have the trigger blade safety. On the Sig, there's no way to tell them. If it's loaded, unloaded, the trigger's gonna look the same. So there's no mood on the Sig. It's just always, you don't know. With the Glock, if this was loaded, okay, pull it. Oh shit. Yeah. I just pulled it up, but if it was loaded, the trigger would be forward. The trigger being forward, you would, obviously not what I just did, but in all intents and purposes, if it was loaded, that you would know that it's pre-cocked with the trigger being forward. But obviously this is empty, but you could tell that if you do that, this is on a dead gun in a sense. So the only way to really cock the system in a sense, you can manipulate the trigger. But the only way to cock the striker is to pull the slide back, whether you put it around the chamber or not. That's the only way then for that to activate this. Anyways, though, I digress. So we're gonna go to the range and we're gonna have some fun, and we'll do Glock 22 versus Sig 320, full size, 9 versus 40. If you want to just save your money in either gun, just get 9mm. But in my opinion, I'm a big fan of 40 cal.
So now, hey, when you turn 21, thanks, Sam. Good. Good. Yeah, but remember what I told you? You're just doing like this. Really. That's great. The black one. Yes, the black one. Tomorrow will be a gun cleaning day for me. Tomorrow I got a clean car.
All right, so the Glock 22, 100% reliable, 100 rounds through it. Under slow fire, steady fire, it was all center mass right there. Once you started mag dumping, all in the green center mass, but obviously it would spread a little high to low under fast mag dumping, all 15 rounds mag dumping. Slow fire here on headshots at 5.5 yards, very acceptable. And only one go outside the green, but still a kill shot. And those were using some hollow points as well in there. So very acceptable, very impressed. This Glock 22, Gen 2, ran fine, 100% reliable. Extraction was great. Let's go to the SIG. The SIG is more accurate. So we had two 17-round mags, pretty much all center mass. On that one, I might have had one or two fly low. Still on the center mass, but those were my fault, not the gun. I anticipated the shot too soon, and that's what happens. In the end, much tighter grip. Went too high and too low, my fault. But all the rest of the rounds are just going through one ragged hole here in the center here. I'm just putting hole through hole. I'm almost 100 rounds in. We got about 30 rounds left. So that's almost 70 rounds. The SIG is definitely more accurate. It's a superior trigger, more accurate barrel. Don't eat ass. Clearly, mag dumping was still pretty accurate. We did have one flyer though, so I guess we could say that against the SIG though. that was a really fast mag. The SIG is the timing of the SIG. It's a faster gun. The SIG is the more accurate gun, but that's on me. It still was all in the green except one. I did. Generally, when I mag dump fast, because after watching all these videos of me doing, when I go mag dump fast, the first shot's always low because I'm anticipating all that recoil. I want to stay steady the whole time. And generally what happens is the first shot's always low, the second one is high, because I'm bringing it to level, and then it steadies out. I see my patterns when I go rapid fire. You're talking about Well, the last one I held off to be funny, but we put 16 rounds in. I don't even think it was 3 seconds. And then the last one was for funny. We'll see. In the end, the overall groupings of the SIG are much tighter, with much less variable left to right. The occasional, that one being off, it's on me, under that mag dumping, that was a very fast mag dump. Even for me, that mag dump that was a nasty mag dump. That was fast. But in the end, let's put them side by side. Both 100 rounds of each. The SIG 320 full size 9mm, exact same size, full size. Glock 22 Gen 2. But whether Gen 2, 3, or 4, full size, really, it's all the same platform. Now, obviously, one's 40, one's 9. But 40 shouldn't put you in the realm where that would be the deciding factor where, well, it's only, it can't be as accurate. Definitely 40 is a little more power, and definitely can be a little more recoil. That being said, though, here we have the headshots with the 40 caliber, and still very good. Very good. But the spread left to right, but we have the spread a little more higher, more tidy. Yeah. The overall grouping is, each hole is touching the other hole. No diddy. Except this one right here. We're close enough. Yeah. I mean, oh, we did have, look at this, we had one slip here. So, okay. And then the 40 here, the overall spread. Tight. But remember, it's the Glock as well. So, the SIG just held much tighter grouping. Now, the thing is, though, these are man-sized targets, right? And this would still be a small man, right? Because you're talking about the width, not even, you're talking about a 6-inch wide. Yeah. You're talking about 6 inches from here to here. So, no man or no person is only 6 inches wide. So, you know what I'm saying? So definitely, the 320 is the winner as far as tighter groupings. Both were equally reliable. Now the question is, what's right for you? Obviously, the Glock is the winner for platform. And, well, you could say under modern times for reliability, as far as in the well, I mean, not reliable, they're both reliable. But as far as durability, obviously, the Glock and the system, as of right now, I get it, the whole 320, well, it's going to go off in your pants, and I get that. And I'm carrying a 320 compact, well, the Mark 18, M18, with the frame safety, though. I won't really carry with that one. But it's in a proper holster. Keep it in the proper holster. I've been carrying one for about a week now. In and out of the car, not going off. I won't carry appendix though. Anyways, but these original Glocks and the Gen 2s, oh boy, do your history. There were kabooms reported. There were issues with these things blowing up. But that was mostly people using reloaded ammo and loading too high. And also people using lead ammo. You can't use lead ammunition on a Glock barrel. Not on the original hexagonal barreling, right, or polygonal, or either one. The point is, it's not a traditional landing group barrel, and so on the original Glocks, when they switched over from revolvers, there was people getting shot in the leg, but because they were used to holding revolvers. So, you know, right now the train on the 320, I get it, but it's no joke. The 320 trigger is very light. Easy to pull, makes it much more accurate, but you better use a proper holster on this. You better use a proper holster. And once it's in your holster, don't fuck around. There's no trigger safety like the Glock. And it's a much nicer pull. I mean, this is the better shooting gun, better feeling gun. It's fantastic. Yeah. But then the Glock, obviously you got the Glock mags. Glock wins in the mags as far as availability, price point, and you don't even have to get Glock mags, although I'd recommend only carrying Glock mags. But this aftermarket mags out the yin yang. Drum mags, you don't even got I mean, they make rap videos about Glock mags, so it is what it is. Obviously, Glock wins in the magazine department, but these mags are available, but they can get expensive. But if you shop around, you can find these maybe around 35 bucks. But don't buy them new for 50. Shop around and maybe get them for 35. These are very good quality Metcar magazines. Watch out, don't get the Pro Mag. I don't recommend that. And watch out for the original one, the Checkmates were the original ones. The Checkmates, the holes are closer. See this hole here and here? I have one, not on me. The Checkmates had closer holes and it said made in the USA. You do not want, you don't want a 320 mag made in America, because those were Checkmate that SIG originally contracted, and SIG even admitted, yeah, we went to it straight to Metcar. Yeah, why did you switch? Yeah, because the Checkmate sucked. So keep it Italian with these mags. The Glock, keep it Glock. Keep these Italian, keep these Austrian. With a magazine is something really not negotiable. That's not negotiable. You know what I'm saying, though? I would, no, your magazine is the biggest factor to reliability on the firearm. Obviously, you cleaning is important, but a gun can still work 100, 500 rounds dirty, especially Glocks and these kind of guns. But you have a shitty mag. If you're going to be dropping them on concrete, replace the base plates or check for damage. Okay? These things aren't infinite. Obviously, on style, I'm going to give style probably to the Glock only because it's a classic design. Even though this is a prettier gun and it feels much nicer in the hand, shoots much nicer. The look of the Glock is classic, and I can't deny that. And it has an old school look. I'm not even going to change the sights. I could upgrade the sights very cheaply, but whatever, that's just part of the Glock thing. But I really enjoy the classic look of the original Gen 2 Glock. I don't like the rail system on the Glock. I'm never going to carry a flashlight. This one, though, you have no choice because this is a modern gun, very modern, so you have massive rails, and that's just part of the design. Shooting side by side, this is the clear winner as far as, this is the better gun. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a SIG fanboy, a Glock fanboy. This is the better gun. This is... This is plenty good, though. There's nothing wrong with the Glock. The Glock works. It's reliable. You're going to find holsters, more variety of holsters, more variety of size of mags. And on the used, well, both on the used market, I found this one for $349. That was a steal. And I traded one off to get this. But it was worth it. I like the old school Glock. I would carry this, and I would carry this if I had to, and protect my life with it. I trust the Glock system. But both systems, holster, and I mean a proper holster. Don't use generic holsters, or like with double action, single action, I can go with a cloth or a leather holster or some type of slip-in. You see, I'll show my 320. Get an actual, this is an actual 320 holster. Get yourself an actual 320 holster for your 320. See how it's sealed? That's loaded, okay? That's loaded. You want this sealed. You don't want no gaps on either of these designs. So if you're going to carry a striker fire, literally, the gap here is the most important part. But I've been carrying this for no problem. So anyways, both fantastic. The SIG is the winner on the groupings. And I've been shooting, here's the thing, even though I just got this one, I've been shooting Glocks 20 years. I've had so many and traded so many Glocks back to a gun store. So I've had every Glock. 9, 357, 45. Even 50 GI. So, anyways, I could recommend both. For most people, just go easy with the Glock. You know, it's just a system, it's a platform, and it's very reliable. And honestly, for most people, this trigger is good enough. This trigger is even better, but be very mindful that this is it's easier to have an accident with this. However, on takedown, you have to pull the trigger to take this apart. You don't on this. So be mindful, but when you're putting this back together, make sure you raise the slide stop. When you're putting this back together with a slide lock, don't just lock it back and lock this part. So that's a whole nother topic. Be mindful of everything, but with these striker fired, you don't have a hammer here you can hold down. You don't have a hammer here you can hold down. So be mindful in either design that much less forgiveness for an accident than a hammer fired firearm. Well, they're both accurate, both 100% reliable, both durable, both complete acceptable groupings. Yes, the SIG 320 is more accurate, but the Glock will work. I mean, it's okay, so a little more spread, but both acceptable. See you around. So in the end, these firearms here, the 320 and the Glock series, this is the 22, but both full size, both polymer striker fired. In the end, they both were reliable. They both were accurate. Both were durable. Everything worked. As far as accuracy, the SIG is going to hold tighter groupings. The SIG, when you're shooting it, it feels more under control. When you're shooting the SIG, it feels like less going on. Meaning, it feels more like a rock solid firearm. It's just a better built gun. However, though, the Glock system's proven. So even though the Glock was less accurate than it, and the Glock has a little bit, larger groupings, the Glock is accurate enough. The Glock system will work. The question is between the two, which one's better? I'd get them both. I mean, whatever one you have will suit you fine. If accuracy and a better trigger, we're talking about stock, because you could Gucci anything up and you're wasting your money. We're talking about, because with stock is going to be the most reliable design and go longest lasting. When you start modifying guns, the whole system could be off. It's like once you put a plate in your back, sounds like a good idea, and then everything else starts acting funny, and you got to do another plate, and eventually whatever. So anyways, if accuracy and the better trigger and faster follow-up shots with less recoil, faster sight, I'm telling you, to go with 320. If cheaper magazines, more available magazines, larger magazines, is that your more concern? Go with the Glock, because the SIG mags can be expensive and a little harder to find, but they're available. But they're definitely a little more expensive. And if you want to, with the 320, you can change it to different sizes and calibers very easily because it's completely modular. However, with the Glock, you have the largest cult-like following, from magazines to doing whatever you want to do. Holsters, lasers, flashlights, everything is made for Glock by so many people. And you could attach a Glock to an AR-15. That you could insert your Glock into an AR-15 stock, so you could have a surprise Glock in your AR-15 rifle. I mean, the possibilities with aftermarket Glock is insane. So if you're worried about other than the pistol, get the Glock, because if you're going to go down that rabbit hole, it's just ridiculousness. However, though, stock, they're both going to do fine. I'd keep them stock. They're both reliable, both accurate. Okay, but you say, well, which one's more accurate? It's the SIG. And that's not being a fanboy either one. Clearly, I have a Glock. I'm just telling you, what's great about the Glock is the platform, the magazine availability, the proven track record, and yeah. So I mean, do I trust the Glock? Yeah, but I know the gun. You check the internal parts, make sure no damage. And then occasionally you're going to replace magazines, and occasionally replace the guide rod system. Because in the Glock guide rod system, it's a very good guide rod system, but it's not infallible, and it can't be damaged, or it only lasts a few thousand rounds. So especially in 40 cal, 40 and 10 millimeter, I would replace guide rod systems every few thousand rounds. The thing is, like, this is a 33-year-old gun. I'm definitely going to buy a new one, even though it looks in great condition, but polymer is only so durable, and even though there's no damage, that's the biggest thing I worry about. If a part drops, or if the gun drops on the muzzle, and if you have any kind of damage to your plastic guide rod, it can break. Like I said, I've had a Glock 27 break on the second round, and I bought it used, but it was in mint condition. And when it was from the late 90s, and just bam, second round, the whole guide rod system, and that's a two-stage spring system. It just sheared in half. And Glock replaced it, but that's all I'm saying though. With any gun, but especially with older Glocks being polymer, the guide rod system, spend $10 and just buy a new guide rod system. That's not to say that's a flaw in the gun, but that's a part that wears itself out, whether shooting or not, just from being 30 years old, because it's captive. When you have a captive guide rod system, it's not fully compressed, but still compressed enough, and it was putting pressure on that cap on the front because it's containing that energy. So how long do you expect that part to last forever without wearing out? I mean, you can't say because some could last maybe forever. Some after, like I said, look at mine, the second round. So I replaced it. Never had another issue on that Glock 27. And so that being said, but I wouldn't put a metal guide rod system in the Glock because the frame flexes when it shoots. And now, so in a way, there's a reason why Glock puts the polymer guide rod system in this design. So, because as the Glock shoots, it flexes. So you want to get a guide rod that flexes with it. If you have a stainless steel guide rod, you have a little less recoil, and you're not worried about the guide rod system breaking. But eventually you could have an issue where it starts banging around inside and could start damaging the internals of the firearm, the polymer frame, because now you have a stainless steel. What wins, stainless steel or polymer? Stainless steel. So if you have a super strong titanium or stainless steel guide rod in there, and as the frame's flexing, that stainless steel's not flexing, and it can start digging into that frame. Keep an eye on that. I would keep Glock stock. I keep all firearm stock. Just replace parts as needed. They're not infinite. Every gun can start wearing out. Of course, there's the beginning of a gun where it needs to get broken in a sense. Shoot a couple of boxes of ammo, you should be fine. And then after that, there's that sweet spot where it's just going to run until it doesn't. Now, of course, if you're not cleaning your firearm, people go, I don't clean my guns. I got 5,000 rounds, never clean or lubricate. That's fine. Eventually, the gun is going to stop working for you, and then that's fine. But then when it does, it might be at a time where you really need it. So every time I shoot my guns, I shoot them. And then I clean them afterwards. Why? Because I reset back to zero. Meaning, when you clean your guns and everything's good, and your magazines inside are not all complete fouled up, and the gun's, clean and dry in a sense, and properly lubricated lightly, and using good ammunition, and you're rotating your ammunition out as you carry it, because, you're cycling in and out, and these rounds get wear. As you do that way the gun's always at zero, meaning it's ready. If your gun's at 100, meaning like if you don't clean it, or you haven't cleaned it in 3 range sessions, it's not at zero, meaning, okay, it could work next time, or it might not. It might jam, because now it's just enough crud in the inside, So it might have worked the last 500 rounds, 1,000 rounds without a cleaning. Okay. But then if you need it next time, right? I mean, so in theory, whatever, do what you want. I don't give a shit. Do what you want. I'm so sick of people bragging that they like to abuse their guns, not clean them. Yeah, but why? What else is more important than your firearm? Clean it. Take care of it. Use it. And, practice, go to the range, sure. But don't. Why? Only thing I can see is not cleaning it if you're doing a test. Even then, keep it lubricated. Let's say you want to do 2,000, 5,000 rounds without any cleaning. But you still have to worry about the barrel, because you have enough fouling, enough carbon buildup, and or enough copper getting, lining up the barrel. You could eventually blow out the barrel, but you could eventually blow the gun up if you don't clean it. It's absolutely possible. So at least punch the bore every 1,000 rounds. That's my opinion, but I mean, God's sakes. Anyways, I'll see you around. They're both fantastic firearms. They're equal in some ways. The Sig is superior for accuracy and trigger control. The Glock is going to have that classic look and the largest magazine following, because you might have a carbine, or a rifle, or a large pistol carbine, not pistol carbine, but an AR type pistol that takes Glock mags, and so then you could have the same mags. So there's so much with the Glock, not just for the gun, with other platforms that take Glock mags. So Glock's the winner on that, on magazine compatibility and availability and capacity on magazines. Glock's the winner. So, this, depending what you want to do. Outside the gun, the Glock is better because there's so much you could do. If you're just looking at the gun, though, the 320 is the better gun. No hands, no doubt about it. And shooting them, you'll see right ahead, like, wow, Sig is a better shooting gun. The Sig is classier. The Sig trigger pull, the accuracy, the follow-up shots, the trigger control, everything about the Sig is nicer when shooting it. However, though, the Glock's the Glock. It works. Massive availability of parts, and like I said, you could do anything with Glocks. So it's a great system. And clearly, what I like about Glocks, this is a Gen 2, 1992 made. And really, it's the same concept in 2025. Yeah, they changed some finishes, which are not as good. The DLC is not as good. This is the original Tennifer. They changed a few things. Magazine's still the same. Magazine's just the same. So clearly, the magazine Glock system, they figured something out from the beginning. Sights are the same from the factory. So they added some slide serrations. Or they added a ambi. It's a garbage system. I don't like the ambi slide stop. I do not like that on the Glock. It just looks like an afterthought. So for me, it's Glock Gen 2. I'll see you around, and that's it. Stay fresh, stay out of trouble. These things are both phenomenal firearms. Obviously, it wasn't a direct comparison because one's 9, one's 40, but it's still comparison that, 9mm still has plenty of power. 40 cal is more power, and 940 caliber is controllable. You can't control 40 caliber. Clearly, I showed today you still get very good groupings with 40 caliber. So that's another topic. But the point is, they're in the same realm. Full size duty guns, polymer, striker fired. There were advancements on the 320 on modularity, accuracy, controllability. I mean, it's better in all those categories. But the Glock just works. The Glock works. And so, yeah, I'm not going to say anything bad about either of them. They both have their strengths, and I don't think they have major weaknesses. No one's going to tell you, oh, the Glock's the most accurate gun, or the Glock is the best trigger. Everyone knows. Everyone, because they end up modifying the Glocks to make them better, because, I don't though, because I just know they're going to work stock. To me, I'm not going to subject the gun to any issues with reliability, durability by changing parts. Just keep it stock. Just get better with the stock gun, because at least you know the baseline. It's from the factory. It's how it's intended to be. You start putting in a non-factory triggers, non-factory guide rods, non-factories, this and that. The only thing you want to change sights, okay, and keep factory Glock mags. Don't use anything else besides Glock mags. That's my opinion. Do what you want. See you around. I like them both.